Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we have our next EB01 leader, Kyros, in the One Piece card game. And today we're going to go over the leader in general, an example deck list, as well as go over a game from one of my previous live streams. And real quick before we get started, if you guys aren't following me here on YouTube, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It does help a lot. And then also, if you guys want to see more Kyros gameplay, I do have an entire live stream on Twitch and on YouTube for subscribers and members respectively. That's linked in the description if you want to see more games on that as well. But we're going to go into Kyros. He's a pretty unique leader in a lot of ways, but he's our next Dressrosa leader. He's technically our third one since Sabo from Star Deck 13 was a Dressrosa leader, but kind of like the second one, especially since most of the Dressrosa cards are black, which, you know, from the blue and black Rebecca deck, a lot of it were the black side. So we do have Kyros being able to take advantage of all those cards. And it's also yellow, which is really interesting because we just got a black and yellow leader with the Star Deck 13 Luffy a couple weeks ago, but he's pretty unique and different from him as well. I also will say they printed like no specific support for this leader. They kind of did the thing where they just made this leader and said, oh, he's probably fine, right? We've made some Dressrosa cards before. We don't need any real support. And we got like a little bit of it, but nothing too wild. He's really, really open-ended, which is both good and interesting from a deck building choice, but also a little bit tough for it to be a little bit meta viable too. So I think there's a lot of avenues to go through this, and we're going to, again, go over an example deck list with him. But I think there's some other ways. I think this the one that I have is just the one I had the most success with as well. So, but he has this activate main. What's return? You may turn the top card of your life face up, KO up to one of your opponent's costs 0 characters. And so that is a cost for this effect too. So if you have the top card of your life already face up, you can't use its activate main. You have to either flip it back down, which there are ways for that, or just get rid of it, go down in life, etc. So there are just those things. So it's kind of no cost. It's like a weird way to manipulate resources, which I think is really unique and very fun from this leader. And it does mean like you can get it pretty easily where you get like a KO every turn if you set it up correctly, which is very strong. So that's the idea for this leader. And so real quick, the life manipulation I think is pretty big for this leader. So the one that we get from the set, we have Viola. It's a blocker 2-drop. It's a Dressrosa card as well. So if we want to play like 1-drop Rebecca to help find it, we can. But on play, you get to choose one of the following. Look at all your opponent's life, then return them in any order, or you can turn all your life cards face down. So being able to put your cards face down means that you can use them again for the effect of your leaders. So that is helpful for that. This also gets, you know, some other leaders really take advantage of Viola using this effect too. So not uniquely to Kyros either, but I think it's a standard card for this deck, and you kind of have to run a couple copies just in case you are stuck with a life face up. Being able to play one, it's a blocker, so it's not too bad, and then get rid of it is pretty good. We also have our Hiyori, same kind of thing on play. You can put the top or bottom card of your life to your hand, and then put the one card from your hand on the top of your life pile, so which face down. So essentially, it's the same thing as Viola. You kind of just get to refresh the top card of your life. There's also a card you need to put in there with, you know, that has a trigger or something. You can do that. So Hiyori is just kind of more generic in that way. It's not blocker, but it is a 2K, so it's better in hand if you don't need it. But I think it's a good card for the deck as well. Just for additionally, if you need to put one of your cards face down, it's a great card for doing that as well. And then we also have Sanji. I don't like this one as much, but I do want to mention it a little bit. So, you know, it has this one attack. You may add the top or bottom card from your life to your hand. Add up to one card from the top of your deck to your life. So technically it draws a card. You do have to put 2 Dawn underneath it essentially to be able to get the, you know, a 5K to pressure a leader. You don't have to either. And it's a 2K, so if you don't end up using it later, it's good in hand too. But I feel like in this meta, it just gets removed too easily for you to really get the effect. Unless it's like you play it on your 2 Dawn turn and they don't remove it. But even then, I feel like that's kind of like slowing you down for tempo a little bit. So not the biggest fan, but is another card that I could think of that will let you refresh the top card of your life, which means that you can use it to aggressively, again, be able to refresh your life so you can use your leader effect again. So there we go. And then we got some cost reductions. These should be no new cards for you guys. You should know most of these. I think the best one, though, is Hina. Hina's just very good. You play a 3-drop 5K on play, give up to one of your opponent's characters -4 cost to their, or -4 cost during this turn, so you can get rid of something 4 or less by playing this Hina and then using your leader effect. So that's pretty good, especially on curve. You can get rid of anything. We also have Ice Age, same kind of thing. For one card, main, give it to one of your opponent's characters -5 cost during this turn, meaning that you can can use this pretty easily to get rid of most things that are 5 or less, right? And then it's not too difficult to get additional, tiny reduction to get the additional 1 or 2. And then we also have Great Eruption. So main draw 1, going to give something -2 cost. So if you need to get something in range a little bit better, so Hina, Great Eruption gets a 6, Ice Age, Great Eruption gets a 7, and you use 2 Dawn, and you only go like -1 because Great Eruption, replaces itself in that way. So just generically good cards for this, and they're all Navy cards, which generally thinking right now, I think Kyros needs to be more of a Navy built deck, which we'll show over, just because we have just so much access to cost reduction that it makes it really easy to get some removals on our opponent's cards too. So there you go. And then lastly, we're just going to talk about a couple Dressrosa cards. There's not a lot. There's not a lot that really help out Kyros in their way. There is like the new Scarlet, which I think is just kind of a little bit better in Rebecca as is, but it has this activate main. You may trash this character, put up to 1 Dressrosa type character other than Scarlet with cost of 3 or less from your hand rested, then give it to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn. So it can work for either. I'd rather kind of almost like draw a card than get the replacement. There's not also a lot of good 3 costs to play. The best one is Kyros, which only really gets its effect in Rebecca too, so you don't really get it in Kyros the leader. We also have Suleiman, which is on a play, and when attacking if your leader is Dressrosa, give -2 to one of your opponent's characters, then place 1 card from the top or bottom of your deck into your trash. So being able to get like the -2, and you can continually do it, especially since, if you have the Colosseum out, which also is Dressrosa specific, you can play and then attack with Suleiman, and then you give something -4 cost. So he's generally like kind of worth it. If you're playing more of a Dressrosa build, I think he's definitely in a good spot for the deck itself. And there are just other cards in the same kind of realm. If we are playing the Colosseum, they do have like the 1 attacking cost reduction, which means if you do have the Colosseum, you can attack the turn they're played and get the cost reduction and get your additional benefits for it. So I think all that's pretty good. It takes like an extra card for Kyros, but it's not too bad in that way. So anyways, we don't really have many other kind of cards I really want to talk about. They didn't really give him a lot from the expansion booster itself. They kind of, again, just released the leader. But let's go over the example deck list that I have ready for you guys. All right, and here is the example deck list that I have for you guys. If I'm being honest, this one is kind of like, honestly, like a worse version of Sakazuki, or just kind of like a different version of Sakazuki. Maybe not as consistent, but it does have some really good plays in the deck that Sakazuki doesn't really have access to. The best card in this deck, unsurprising, is Gecko Moria. For better or for worse, you get some really good combo potential with this card, especially since you can get like full value off Rebecca. So you could do something where you play Gecko Moria, you play Rebecca, use Rebecca's effect to get Hina to play Hina, and you get Helmeppo. So you get out a Hina, a Rebecca, a Helmeppo, and get rid of a 7 or less, because you get a 3 reduction off the Helmeppo and a 4 reduction off the Hina. So you just get rid of a 7 cost and just get such a wide board, including a blocker. It's a really, really good combo for this deck, which has been really strong. We also do have like a backup copy of Rebecca with Shirahoshi. It's just on play, gives something -4 cost, and it's a blocker. So especially since we don't run into as much red removal, this card is pretty good in that way. Obviously a little bit rough to run in a deck like against like Red Purple Law, who can remove these for free, but still in an okay spot for that one. Other than that, we are running like the Navy package, brand new. Is just a good card still. We do find a lot of cost reduction, and again, a Great Eruption, our Ice Age, our Hina, which has been very strong. A couple copies of Sabo just for some cycle there. We're playing Gadatsu, which is nice. You don't really care about your opponent's life totals for this card specifically, but since we are running stuff like Ice Age and Great Eruption, you can just get stuff into range. So if your opponent has 3 life and they have a 5 cost card out, you can Great Eruption, play Gadatsu, and you get rid of their card, right? So that's still pretty great, especially on a 5/6 body. That's also a 1k counter, so I think that's strong. We're playing a couple copies of Charlotte Linlin. This is also just kind of a weird way to be like a little bit more aggressive, but also if they let you heal the life, that means that you can then like flip it face up so you can use your leader ability. So if I'm at 8 Dawn, I really like playing Linlin at times, because if they either I get the burn damage or they give me the heal, which means that I can just Ice Age and then flip it over whatever we have to be able to get the removal. So either feels really strong, and I think that's good for the deck, like one of the better combos. And then we also have this T-Bone, which is from Expansion Booster. He's just another 2k they gave Navy for some reason that also has a really relevant on play of KO up to one of your opponent's 2 cost or lower characters on a 5 cost 5k. So it's just a solid card. I don't know why they gave this to Navy, but they didn't need it, but they got it. So other than that, the deck is pretty solid. There are some kind of weird early turns where you have this removal potential, but you don't have anything that's really worth the removal. So like Borsalino's okay. If you like playing 4-cost Kuzan, go for it. I don't think it's a bad card. It's just not in this build. And could definitely replace Great Eruption when we lose this in a couple weeks too. So anyways, this is the example build for you guys. I know it's pretty basic, but it's strong and kind of shows off what the deck does. And if you want to kind of branch off from there, I think it's a really good starting point as well. So anyways, there's the example deck list, and let's go to the example game. All right, here's our example game. It's against Santa, who's on the purple-yellow Croc, who's gotten a lot of good support in this expansion booster as well. We're going to go second in this deck, which I prefer, especially with these two Morias in our hand. And they're going to play the new blocker there, which unfortunately they're going to get removed immediately with this Hina and our leader effect right there. So we're going to go play the Hina, get the removal, swing into their life, hit them down to 3. And we show that we have a Lin at the top of our life too, which is pretty strong. We get that back to our hand real quick, so we do have some more removal potential if we so desire, though we don't have much more cost reduction in our hand right now. We do have the Helmeppo in our trash, but we really can't do much about it either. So this is kind of like a bit of a weird turn since we are at that 6 Dawn as well. So I'm kind of looking at what's their best kind of play. It looks like we're just going to put 7 into their face and then a big 9 with the Kyros there. And they're actually going to take both, going down to 1. No triggers out of life, which is pretty good for us, and we're going to pass it back to them. So I'm actually going to take this because I do want to be able to get the big Gecko Moria play next turn. But unfortunately, that's a 8-cost body, and we have a 7-cost removal with the Helmeppo and Hina, so you really can't do anything about it right now. So I think we're just going to play the Lin as is. They're going to give us another life, which is quite nice. We're going to hit 6 into them, and they're going to pass back after that. So 5 into her life, we're going to get the Rebecca into the trash so we can use that effect later. Playing another 8-drop, which we can't do anything about until we top deck this Helmeppo, which is quite strong. So what we can do, the big full combo, we can use Helmeppo, give that -3 cost, and then use the Gecko Moria, and then use the additional Helmeppo to get the minus cost, get Hina from hand with Rebecca, and then get that extra removal. So we get the removal, we pretty much clean up their 1 Katakuri, and then we have 5 cards on board off of like 2, which is very strong. So we're going to take this damage so we can, get our leader effect again and get the popping there. We're going to get the block there in case they have a Yamato, and then they play out 2 copies of Kikunojo, which is kind of nasty to exist as well. So we're just going to start with a big old 9, see what happens with it there. They're actually going to take the life, and so and hit the beige off of life, so we can't attack with their leader anymore. Purple Yellow Croc also got this nasty card that can redirect our own attacks, which we got to be a little bit careful about as well. But I'm kind of going to see what we decide to do with this one, because we do have like a good amount of options available as well. But it looks like we're just going to get brand new. We're going to use the effect of the brand new there. And to get Ice Age, get the reduction off the Katakuri, get the removal. We're going to put in a big 8 into their lead. And let's see what they do with that. So they're going to double 2k out of it and then pass back. So these Kikunojos are around, which is, again, pretty obnoxious. Shirahoshi is a blocker, which can help us survive an attack as well, which is nice. And then we know that we have a Rebecca in our life, which I'm kind of inclined to take as well. We do already have one in our trash, too, for our second Gecko Moria. And then with our additional copy there, I think we're just going to go 2k, 1k with the Viola. So it also puts Viola into our trash in case we need to put that there as well. They're going to go big 7. We're going to block there. And then they only have the Miss Wednesday, which is quite strong for us. So that is just one little blocker for us. I think we're going to try to... we can just use Rebecca as is. But we do need to get the Hina into the trash as well to be able to get that. So we could do something where we attack with Hina, and then we play our Viola, and then after that we can play it off of the Rebecca to get a removal too. Just kind of the sequencing's a little bit weird, because like we have to like flip it open, and then like Viola will put the Lin face down, but then we'd have to put it back face up. So just kind of some weird sequencing at this point on what we kind of want to do. So still thinking a little bit, because we can play another Gecko Moria that can get some good removal. They only have 4 cards in hand and 0 cards in life with 1 blocker. I know what you're thinking, Eggman. Why are you not going in? I promise you there's a good reason for it. I promise. All right, so we're thinking, yeah, we can play Moria, get rid of the Hina, and then over the Hina, and then we can get some additional cards there. Yeah, we only need the Helmeppo, right? Because it's only a 3 cost. So yeah, that's what we decide. We get the 2k back into our hand. So a little bit more like a conservative play for this one, because then we can play the Viola next if we want to play another blocker out as well. So we're going to get rid of their blocker. We're going to go 5 into their leader. And going 5 is really important because they can't redirect into one of the Kiko Nojos and get that. But they're going to play Weaknesses of Sin, which means they're a 6k leader. So all right, cool. 6-6, swing 6k. Which means that they'll be able to redirect the attack if they so desire. No, just a 2k out. Okay, knowing that this 10k is going in. There it is. And there is the Okama Wave. So that brings the attack to the Kiko Nojo, which means they get the free heal because that does get KO'd and it passes back. But we're in a really good spot, I feel like, at this point. We're at 5. We got the 1 block there. We'll probably get the other block with Rebecca at this point. Yeah, just to fill up some room there. They're going to play the 8-drop Croc, which means they have another card in their life. We're going to go another 5. They're going to go down to 1. We're going to go 9. Yeah, we're probably just going to keep swinging through just to see if there's anything we can get. They use the Croc effect to get the cycle, and then they concede there. Not much more to go for it. So, honestly, just a really strong deck. If you see your Morias, obviously, Moria can carry a lot of decks for it. And, I don't think Purple Yellow Croc is like the most meta, but I think it kind of shows like the strength of the deck and how good the removal can be at times as well. So anyways, that's going to be it. If you guys want to see more of it, you can check out the live streams, link to the description. Let me know what other decks you guys want from EB01, and I'll catch you all next time.
Damn it. Damn it.